A young man is reincarnated as a 5-year-old child under the auspices of the king and queen in this royal capital. What's intriguing is that he is born with superhuman abilities and is so powerful that no one can believe it. He is trained by 2 girls, but he is much stronger than them, and here the student surpasses the teacher. What will Cain achieve in his exciting and thrilling adventures in fighting monsters? The story continues after MC's declaration of wanting to be an adventurer to help people and protect everyone's smile. His father Garm tells him he needs to study more for that, so he will be getting him a tutor. Unlike in the real world, this news makes Cain really happy and he looks forward to it laying on his bed. He thinks about who the tutor could be, a muscular one or maybe a witch, or could it be? Thankfully, the anime tropes are on his side soon. Sylvia calls out their hero and MC immediately jumps up running to the window and teleporting outside. Unfortunately, his teleportation sends him several feet up in the air and he falls onto the unsuspecting melons below, which prevent him from taking fall damage. The woman who his face is buried and asks him if he wants her melons, though he won't be able to get much from them. The butler then introduces the 2 girls as Ms. Millie and Ms. Nina, his tutors. Oh no, he's already made a weird impression on them. NC introduces himself too, but keeps the rest of the details to himself. After all, he's a reincarnated aristocrat who is given max stats by every single god. He can't tell anyone that Ms. Millie, the redhead wearing armor, nervously presents herself to Garm due to his rank as an aristocrat. She's a D-rank adventurer who works as a tutor. Her partner, the greenhead, Nina, is an elf and some sort of mage. MC tells them not to use honorifics, since he wants them to be closer, and his father Garm reveals they will be tutoring him for 3 years. The group immediately heads out for training. The first thing they focus on is swordsmanship. Out in the courtyard, Millie tells him to try a few practice swings while she watches, but even a few practice jabs are apparently too much, since he's literally firing off machine gun blows that would put Genos to shame. It looks like he's stronger than you, Nina remarks. Embarrassed, Millie proclaims she won't lose to a 5-year-old kid before stepping up and telling MC to have a sparring match with her. MC eagerly takes her on, but she already has trouble deflecting his blows when he activates his god mode. Millie has no chance and begs him to stop, saying if he keeps going like this, she won't be able to keep up. Her partner, Nina, speculates he has the blessing of the god of war, and they're amazed someone who was baptized only a few days ago has this much power with their sparring at an end. Millie happily takes the chance to have a break and instead transfers MC over to Nina. I have the blessing of the god of magic level 3. She says so. Let's start with the basics. At this point, you've got to almost feel bad for these tutors. MC wanders over and pipes up, oh, I can do that already. I practiced it in the book. The bookman asks confused. MC proceeds to literally tear up the floor, casting water, ball, fireball, and rock bullet. He says it's all he can do for now, but evidently his lack of understanding really shows itself. Despite not thinking, he did much. Tina comments he's using chantless magic. It takes tremendous training just to shorten the chanting, but to be able to do chantless magic at 5 years old. What a genius! It's Millie's turn to praise Cain now, so she brings up how he seems to be using all element magic. That's impossible. Nina remarks, not even a sage class royal court magician can use all attribute magic. Moreover, that power they'd look at the whole MC has just blasted in the walls of his own castle, and Nina asks him if he has the blessing of the god of magic. The 2 girls sigh in frustration as they realize there's not much they can actually teach him. Oh, can I offer you a nice towel in these trying times? MC asks, using his item box to retrieve a blanket. An item box at this point. Those 2 don't feel they can be surprised anymore. Cain, you're a genius. They say we can't teach you anymore. We can't keep up with you. MC does have something he wants though, and requests they take him outside. Silky can touch grass. He's never been outside the mansion since he was born, except for his baptism, so he wants them to take him outside to practice magic. The 2 of them agree, but have to convince their father Garm. First, the trio goes back inside where they meet with Garm and telling they can't teach him more without harming the mansion. He's gotten that strong already. That's my son Cain, Sarah remarks, so my lord. Millie says we would like to teach an outside the capital from now on. Garm consents, but on the condition that MC return before sunset and remain careful, accompanied by his mentors. MC goes outside and tests his intermediate magic, which blows up a large boulder. Unfortunately, this explosion doesn't send him flying into their melons, but Nana recognizes his magic is beyond the intermediate level. Surely he's tired after casting a high-level spell, right? Surely there are some limits to his strength, right? Nope, of course, MC's amount of magic power is off the charts, and he doesn't feel fatigued at all. Who is this boy exactly? Just then a killer rabbit runs out and charges MC, who easily takes it down with a cast of air bullets. You can sell its parts if you want, but what are you going to do with it? They ask MC summon his item box and stores the slain rabbit in there. I'm going to show it to my parents and my sister. He says watching this makes Millie a bit envious, and she tells him she's going to buy a magic bag when she can save up the money. When MC asks about it, she tells him there are magic items that can do things individuals don't have a talent for. In this case, it allows the user to essentially simulate having a magic box ability. The trio then goes and searches for killer rabbits, with Nina using her magic to detect their presence. Cain asks her how she did that, and she tells him you can channel your magic power breath of the wild style to locate anything with a magic power of its own. He tests, search out and detects the 4 rabbits 300 meters from here. What normally you can't even use it on your first try, much less detect the exact number. Millie rests a hand on Nina's shoulder and tells her to give up on Cain. After all, he's already so much more powerful than them. The trio easily defeats the rabbits, but one of them turns tail and disappears into the forest. When MC goes to chase, they tell him to stop, since it's full of strong monsters. Once every few decades, they run amok and many monsters attack the city. That's why the city had such a great outer wall. Cain, you must become a strong adventurer, so you can one day defend the city with only a few rabbit kills. MC has somehow ended up at level 8, which was due to the premium EXP buff. The gods gave him. MC has to keep this a secret too, to avoid getting placed under state control. If I had a sponsorship with Norden, I would place it here. The next day, the trio dropped by the local adventurers guild and meet Rudy. The Dog Girl Guild receptionist. MC introduces himself, saying he can't register as an adventurer due to his age. Another adventurer comes over, harassing the pair and using his standing as a C-rank adventurer to bully them. He tries to force them to have a drink with him, but naturally MC stops them, saying he has a training session with them and requesting they leave them alone. A short but extremely one-sided fight breaks out, and MC throws the C-rank and his gang out. The door then gets a nice hug from his 2 tutors. The group then goes out to train in the field and outside the forest before eventually returning back to their mansion. Thus, 3 years soon pass, and MC is now 8, wondering if he can do anything to pay Millie and Nina back for the past few years. He remembers Millie wanted a magic bag and decides to grab some monster materials to craft the magic item, running into the forest. He was explicitly told not to enter. Cain easily defeats a bloody ogre and then an earth dragon, but his attacks caused such a commotion. The spotters on the wall ring the alarm, sending the fort's garrison out to try and stop what they think is a monster invasion. Their court mage finds it strange. They can't detect any more monsters, and when they see the massive blast hole in the ground, Garm sees a handkerchief Cain had accidentally left behind, realizing what had just happened. Meanwhile, the next day Cain is showing off by defeating swarms of wolves in front of his tutors. It's their last day with him, and they head over to congratulate him. He's essentially graduated now. MC takes out a pair of bags for the girls' magic bags he made himself. The red bag is from the blood ochre, and the red one is from the earth dragon. He calmly says, I tried to moderate the magic I put in too. The 2 are surprised, but even with his moderation in crafting, the bags are capable of holding an entire mansion, which would put it easily at a national level treasure would be attacked. If people knew about this, they say, of course, MC has thought this through and has built a security system where the weight of the bag's contents would be doubled for any imposter. MC proceeds to give them a heartfelt speech thanking them for teaching him for all these years, but before he realizes what's happening, the 2 girls kiss him on the cheek, making him blush furiously. We'll see you again. They say, if you ever need help, we'll be there. Thus ended The contract period with the 2 of them and MC became just a little bit more mature, and finally, he'll be able to start his heroic journey blasting apart everything in his way, foreign.
父上には家族以外に言うなと言われた。